Oh, this is Yom Yom. These are sayings by the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe. My father said, this is the previous Rebbe talking about his father, whose father was the fifth Rebbe of Chabad, the Rebbe called the Rebbe Rashab, Rebbe Shalom Dovber. So there's one Hasidic discourse which is called Vayera Ushmi Hashem, that talking about how every Jew is going to every Jew is going to reveal his Judaism. Anyway, the Alter Rebbe would repeat this mimer once every 3 years, almost word for word. That Tzemach Tzedek, the third Rebbe of Chabad, who was the grandson of the first Rebbe, said each time that the Rebbe said it, there was a new light. And my father, the fifth Rebbe of Chabad, commented, light is always the same, but the illuminator, the one giving it over, is always like something new. Light is always the same, but I'll give you an example. Going to the Holy Temple. The Holy Temple, everyone would go to the Holy Temple, and when there was the Holy Temple, they would go 3 times a year and they would be happy. Moadim l'simcha. They would go in the time of happiness. What was so happy in the temple? What was it? It was the same exact thing all the time. Exactly the same thing all the time. Nothing changed. Happy, you go to a big, whatever it is, a big, outdoor concert or a movie or a light, what is sound show or something like that. Everything's always changing. That's interesting, happy, right? So isn't that, yeah, but only very superficially. The temple, when you went, was happy inside. What was happy there? Because even though the light is always the same, and there's the same things were always there, but still you felt God, and God is always new. God is renewing the world. It's always a brand new thing because we're in a world where we don't understand what new really is. God is alive. We don't really understand what life is. Life is a happy thing, but life is always brand new. So when the people went to the Holy Temple, they would feel life. They would feel brand new. Everything brand new. It's being the same thing when the Rebbe said the Mamar. You feel a little bit of that newness of the creation of the Creator. Okay, now that's Friday. Let's do Shabbos. Torah Or, the book Torah. That's what we're learning in the morning. It was first printed in 1837 in the place called Kapust. In the Tzemach Tzedek, he said that the book of Torah Or has a lot of Maimorim, etc. The book has 2 parts. The first is on the first 2 books of the Chumash. That's what we're reading now, and also on Hanukkah and Purim. But it also has a little bit of Parshas Yitro and Pesach. Okay, the second part, with God's help, will be on Shir Shirim, the festivals, Rosh Hashanah, and the last 3 books of the Torah, right? Last 3 books of the Torah, Leviticus and Numbers and what do they call it? Deuteronomy, the 3. And the name of the author is called Shneur. That's the first word of Chabad. It means 2 lights. And also the word ve'ahavta, you should love, is 2 times the value of light. Take the word ve'ahavta is 2 times light. Light is Aleph Vav Resh is 207, and ve'ahavta is twice that. And before the second part, but before this, it was supposed to be one big book with all the 5 books of the Torah explained in it. But why is it separated? We have now only we have only 2 books of the Torah are written in Torah Or, and there's another book which is called Likkutei Torah that has the last 3 books. But what happened is informers had the government close a lot of Hebrew bookshops in Russia, including the one in Kapust, and therefore it had to be printed later on in 1848, which is what is it? 11 years later. 11 years later, it was printed in Zhitomer. It was called a different title called Likkutei Torah. They were always closing down. The Tsar closed them down, and the what was it called? The Tsar closed them down. The communists closed them down. And these were closed in the time of the communists. Then the big problems were from what was called the intellectual Jews, the Maskilim, and they were the atheistic Jews, which that was very popular back then. But it got the influence from France and from Russia, from Germany. And so they did everything they could to try to destroy religious Judaism. And one of the big things was closing down the printing presses, which there's a lot of stories about that also. That is Yom Yom. Now let's have a story. I'll stop the share. Stop the recording.